The URC is getting underway this week, folks. That's the United Rugby Championship. It's the new version of the Pro 14, minus the Cheetahs and the Kings, plus the Sharks, I was going to say the best of Super Rugby from South Africa. All over the shop, folks. We've got the Lions, the Sharks, the Stormers, and the Bulls joining in these 12 teams from Europe. Who are the favourites? I've had a look at some bookmakers' odds and converted those into percentages for you folks. As always with the bookmaker stuff, take them with a big old grain of salt. I've already got the percentages on the board, but it's going to kind of match them up with the teams so you guys can get a feeling for where your team is ranked and whether you think that's a fair reflection of their chances or not. The least favoured team to win the URC this year is apparently my daughter's favourite team because she likes this logo. She's 3 years old. It's Zebre from Italy, given a 0.2% chance. From what loosely I followed the Pro 14, they tend to be towards the bottom of the Pro 14, so maybe that's pretty fitting. They are paying $501 to win the whole thing. Next, at 0.4%, is the other Italian team, that's Benetton. Now, maybe 0.4 is a bit harsh, seeing as they did win the Rainbow Cup. They beat the Bulls. They went on a great run after having an atrocious Pro 14 season. They flipped things on their head, had a great Rainbow Cup season. $201 to win the entire competition. So kind of make of that what you will. And then at 0.6% we have Dragons. They are also paying more than $100. They are paying $151 to win the whole thing. So couldn't even quite get to a full percent. And interestingly, our first South African team, the Lions, are the only other team to not crack a whole percentage point chance of the competition. Remember, the Lions have been kind of bleeding players for a few years, but their recruitment seems to be going not too bad. But yeah, 0.8%, $101 for the Lions to win the competition. Those are the kind of predicted teams to be towards the bottom of their respective conferences, I guess. Zebre and Benetton are in the same one. But Dragons predicted to be the bottom Welsh team, and Lions predicted to be the bottom South African team. Now, when we get to the full percentages, 1%, you've got 3 teams on 1%. You've got Cardiff Rugby, formerly known as Cardiff Blues, now just Cardiff Rugby. They are at 1%, which is paying $81. You've also got Connacht, which is... that's not a good sign, is it? They're not paying particularly good money, I would say largely because they are in a pretty tough Irish pool. They're going to have to play some of the big guns, like the finalists from last year, more than everybody else. And the other one is another Welsh team. So we've got the Ospreys here. All of them are at 1%, so paying $81 to win the whole thing. Remember, it was only a few years ago that Connacht won, I think it was still the Pro 12 back then. But yeah, that's the bottom ranked Irish team. You got 3 of your Welsh teams already on the board. And then you actually, at 2%, rounding out this kind of weak side of the board, if that's what you want to call it, you got the Stormers. Stormers, I know, have also been kind of downsizing in terms of some of their players, but they've also been signing up some guys to contract. So yeah, $41 for the Stormers, 2% chance of getting the thing done. So yeah, that's pretty much half your teams right there. We move on to the kind of stronger side of the board, although if you're looking at this number, they've almost got half of the whole percentage totals in one team. Next, on 3.1%, we have got another South African team in the Sharks, and another the first Scottish team, I should say, in Glasgow Warriors. 2 are kind of your black logos. That's not straight. Goodness me, it's different from the angle I'm sitting at. But there you go. Glasgow and the Sharks. The Sharks have got a pretty bloody good roster. I know Glasgow have kind of been chopping and changing, but there's a lot of Springboks in that Sharks team. Maybe that's a bit of a weakness because remember the South African teams are going to start this competition this week. If they have any Springboks, they're certainly not going to be with them. So maybe they're saying it's going to be a bit of a too long road back in to get into a positive position. But anyway, moving on, 3.9%, we have Scarlets. So that's the top ranked Welsh teams. So apart from the Italians, the Welsh are ranked to have the lowest rated of the teams, and then equal with the Scots. So the highest ranked Scottish team and the highest ranked of the Italian and Scottish pool is Edinburgh. So 3.9% Edinburgh and Scarlets. That's 3.9, not 3.9%. That's 3.9%. $21, $26 for these guys. $21 for these guys. So yeah, it's on paper not supposed to be that flash for Edinburgh and Scarlets. But anyway, we're getting towards the top, folks. You'll notice there's still 3 Irish teams not on the board, and there's 1 South African team in particular we're still waiting out to see. But that is these guys here. It's the Bulls. Bulls fans may be incredulous, seeing as the success they've had under Jake White. Maybe it's partially to do with that Rainbow Cup loss. Maybe it's because any of the Springboks and the Bulls. Which current Springbok guys are signed to the Bulls? I know Vermeulen's just signed for Ulster. I'll have to think about that for a second. But yeah, the Bulls. Top ranked of the South African teams, but not even top 3 for the bookies anyway. Going into this URC season, paying $13, 6.3% for them. Remember, under Jake White, they've kind of had unparalleled success within South Africa, but can they do it abroad, I guess, is the question. 9%, if you're familiar with the Pro 14, you probably know where this is heading. Ulster, beaten finalists a couple of years ago, are paying $9, and that sees them have a 9% chance. That actually works out quite nicely. Munster are your second favourites on 14.9%, paying $5.50, and Leinster, 48.8%. If you're a South African fan, you never really followed the Pro 14, asking who are these Leinster guys? Essentially, they won the competition last year. It's the Pro 14, and the year before, and the year before, and the year before. They pretty much are the Crusaders of this neck of the woods, this competition, and in Europe. So when they bring out kind of some of the bigger guns, they're also always bloody competitive. So yeah, Leinster have stars on their jersey for a reason, because they tend to pick up a lot of Champions Cup trophies anyway. But the Pro 14 has been their baby. Those are stars for the Champions Cup rather than the Pro 14. But yeah, it's been theirs 4 years on the trot. So that's why they are massive favourites for this one. They've got huge depth in their squad. But yeah, interestingly, it's predicted to be 3 of the Irish teams, which is tough because they have to play each other more in their own pools. So I guess this is kind of reminiscent of the old Super Rugby pools where the New Zealand teams were all ranked to do pretty well. But they had to play each other more often. That's what the bookies have got anyway. What do you guys reckon? Are the bookies kind of around about on the money? Do you think the Bulls and the Sharks are maybe, even the Stormers maybe being a bit undersold? The Lions are pretty much supposed to be the weakest of South African teams anyway. Is it because the British and Irish Lions kind of tore these South African franchise teams to bits when they did play them? Remember, they didn't play the Bulls. Is it still going to be Irish dominance? Can you see one of the Welsh teams putting their hand up? It wasn't that long ago that Scarlets were kind of there or thereabouts as well. Can the Scottish teams do anything? Can Benetton replicate their success? Anyway, that's what the odds are, folks. As I said, it's just bookies odds. It's kind of the implied chances of success. But we will see. Should be a bit of fun. Fingers crossed we can get the games on here in New Zealand. I know all the broadcast deals are kind of sorted out pretty much in most parts of the world. Some of the games are going to be on free to air, which is awesome to see. Not all of them. But yeah, you guys do let me know your thoughts. If Sky New Zealand doesn't get the rights to it, I may have to look at some kind of alternatives, but I'm generally loath to do that. I would much rather do it this way if I can. But anyway, we'll see what happens. You guys let me know your thoughts, and yeah, I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.